The NASCAR Clash at the Coliseum is entering its third year, and with that, many fans have pros and cons with it all. But I kind of want to look overall at all of the stuff that's come out about this event and see if this is the last gasp of this event, that this will be it and they'll be going somewhere different or back to Daytona next year, or if this is secretly brilliant and they're going to actually make it work really well. And I think the first way to start off is with the new format. It's a 2-day format, February 3rd on a Saturday and Sunday the 4th. In the 3rd, there's the heat races. 25 laps each, only green flag laps count with no overtime, and they'll be set by three groups of practices, and the times for that will set the grid for these heat races. These 4 races will see 10 drivers each, with the top 5 advancing into the main event. So 20 immediately going into Sunday will be in. Sunday has a little bit more racing on a major level. The Mexico Series will be before the Clash. I actually really like this because it will expose the Mexico Series to a lot of fans in the state who might not know different drivers. Plus, Daniel Suarez is going to be racing there again, which will be really interesting to see both how he stacks up against them, but also if any of them against a track house powered car can possibly beat him. Then you got the last chance qualifier, 75 laps, only green flag laps count, no overtime again. And of the last chance qualifier, the top 2 will get the 21st and 22nd spots on the grid out of the 20 remaining cars. And the highest left in points that didn't make the race, whether that be Ryan Blaney, the champion, or somebody who missed the playoffs, if the rest of them make it in, well, they will get that final 23rd spot. And the Clash itself is pretty straightforward. 150 laps, just like last year, and they will have only green flag laps counting again, but the race must finish under green no matter what. Just reminding you guys of how that worked with the 2022 All-Star race, so there could be issues at the end, but I'm thinking we're probably going to avoid that, but just keep it in mind. As well as a halftime concert again, which we will talk about later. Overall, I actually really like this format on its own, outside of what we'll talk about in a moment. I think that the heat races are actually pretty good lengths overall. And I think that reducing the field down from 27 to 23 cars may help immensely when it comes to the different wrecking problems we had last year. Last year was way too crowded on a quarter-mile track for those cars, and you would just see issues happening from 5 cars back and innocent bystanders being taken out because of it. And I think that overall, the only thing that I'm not too happy with the format itself is just that green flag laps are the only ones to count. Last year, because of the cautions, I thought that it really dragged on way too much, and I'm hoping that maybe the reduced cars will help that. If not, we may see another race kind of drag on because of different restart issues. But the big thing that's really bringing a lot of attention from the NASCAR fandom to this is Saturday. The fact that, as reported by Bob Pockrass, there will be no fans allowed in attendance on Saturday, so they will not be able to see in person any of the heat races that set the field. So for many of you, you will only see your driver in the last chance qualifier, which, yeah, 75 laps, that's great. But if I'm a paying fan, I want to see the most of my driver. But on top of that, the majority of events, when you look at the count of them because of the heat races, will not have fans in attendance. It's going to very much look like a 2020 race, which I don't think any of us really want to think back on. And they did this in Saturdays years past, but there were no meaningful races on those days like there are with this one. And the response of fans was not great by any means. Nobody was really happy with it. But I gotta say that one response in the media, and I shouldn't be shocked, but did not make me happy. And it was Jim Utter, which I'm sure many are not shocked by, who said of fans not being happy with this happening, or they could look at the website and tickets and see that only track day advertised was Sunday, February 4th.
You need to watch out for run-on sentences.
Well, I'll just say this. When I was getting any of my tickets from SMI, I was not told there'd be a Tim Duggar concert, but it just sort of was added into that. It was assumed. That's normal for a NASCAR weekend. And in my opinion, right now, when it comes to this event and the way the fans can be involved, now is not the time to be a bootlicker. At the very least, NASCAR should have communicated this long ago. I think this is a big oversight by those planning this, and there's no way I think you can make a positive spin on it. But if you're wanting to get new fans, which I think is the biggest point of this being in Los Angeles like this, why wouldn't you cast the widest net for the most amount of days? Doesn't really make too much sense to me. Maybe it was something that those running the Coliseum really didn't want to do or didn't have the manpower to do. Okay, well, you can say that, press release, something like that, and while fans wouldn't be happy, you can at least understand a little bit more. But also for longtime fans, you got to think that this is a kick in the nuts too, because think what we've had taken away. And the best one to express this was actually none other than Brett Griffin, who excelled with this tweet. He said that, quote, "Fans' experience is the key to success. Think about what's been taken away from the NASCAR fan in the last 5 years. Preseason at track, fan and media events gone. Speed weeks in Daytona gone. Practice and happy hour gone. All-star events in Charlotte gone. 3-day cup shows gone. Numerous driver appearances at track and in the market gone. Some can't be fixed. Some can." Yeah, but according to one of our most recent champions, fans are spoiled.
Our fans are spoiled, and I love our race fans. But think about other sports for a second.
This, in my opinion, is a symptom of a larger issue. NASCAR needs more at-track content, whether it's drivers doing stuff, whether it's practice and qualifying that isn't just feeling tacked on to the weekend. And in my opinion, if teams can't afford even an extra hour of on-track practice each week, the industry has much bigger issues than just practice time. But I think the biggest thing that has caught most people's attention in a negative light is the halftime concert. Machine Gun Kelly is the artist that NASCAR has chosen, and I'll be real, on paper, this works. Relatively relevant is what I would say Machine Gun Kelly is. He's really popular with the younger crowd that NASCAR wants, especially Gen Z, and his name will draw eyes. And I think that that's probably what NASCAR is looking at. Though on the other side, when you look at more of the human aspect outside of it, there is a big stigma around him from both the rap and metal scene. And generally, those aren't who you're expecting to be in the NASCAR scene, so those are probably the outsiders you're trying to draw in some way. And I will say, for full disclosure, I am no big fan of him whatsoever. I'll just say this, I like Eminem and Slipknot. But I will say this too, this is a high-risk, high-reward asset that NASCAR could have. It could totally flame out and be a giant trend in a wrong way for NASCAR, and it would be memed. That could happen. On the other end, it could be a really badass concert because people aren't expecting it to be. People have a lot of fun with it, and NASCAR gets a lot of good press. But to end it out, I was very against the Clash in 2022 coming to Los Angeles, and they won me over with it. Now, the experiment might be running its course. I don't think the Clash going back to Daytona is a long-term fix either. Look at the years leading up to it leaving Daytona. It was not the greatest thing ever. But with that, I want to pass it on to you and ask, what is your opinion on the Clash this year? Is it an event that just has run its course, needs to be changed again, go back to Daytona? What do you think? Personally, I gotta say, I think that the Clash is running its course. But let me know down in the comments below. And while you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great NASCAR content. Thanks so much to my channel members for your continued support. And until next time, have a good one.